Alright, so this is episode 2, I guess. Not really gonna number them from now on, but I just thought it sounded cool just for... But anyways, today's topic is... Let's see what I can think of. How about the ANBERNIC RG35XX? The original, the one that came out 2023, or the end of 2022, I guess. That, handheld emulation device is really interesting. At the time, I didn't even have a PC, so I had gotten one, and I borrowed my girlfriend's laptop because I wanted to install Garlic OS on it. So I was doing all this research, and I've always been a handheld fanatic. Like I grew up, basically the Game Boy at one point was about my babysitter. I played Tetris, Zelda DX, Link's Awakening, and Conker's Pocket Tale. I had that at one point. But Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow, and then Gold and Silver. Those games, I probably put so many hours into those games. Number one, I didn't know what I was doing. So like Tetris, I mean, you obviously know what you're doing in that. But like Pokemon, I knew what I was doing just because I would talk to friends and stuff. But Conkers, I just wandered around. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I think that game took me forever to beat. Zelda, I used a walkthrough, a guide on the internet, and Game Facts or Game Winners or something like that from way back when. What was it? Game Revolution, Game Winners, Cheat something? No, I can't remember. Game something like that. But dial up connected. Yeah. So handhelds have always been a big part of my life. I had a 3DS on launch when that came out, so I was one of those suckers who paid whatever $350 in 2011 or 12 for that mess. I really enjoyed that though. Like I had a lot of fun. Resident Evil Mercenaries, Street Fighter 4 or Super Street Fighter 4. That game was my introduction to fighting games. But I played Super Street Fighter 2 on the Genesis way back when, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I think I just was a Blanca main. So random. Just because I liked the way he looked. And then after Street Fighter 4 on the 3DS and Mercenaries, I was playing Resident Evil Revelations, and that game was ridiculous. Like how it could perform on that little fucking thing. Then we had, what else did I play on that console? Zelda 3D, Ocarina of Time 3D. There was, I spent it was probably 2 months out of the summer one year between college courses. I was still working, but I would hang out at my buddy's. He was playing Ocarina of Time on the N64, and then I was playing Ocarina of Time 3D next to him on my handheld. And at the time, it just blew my mind that I could have a document open while I was playing on the 3DS. I could switch between the documents, so I could use it as a walkthrough, and then switch back and continue playing the game. It just kind of blew my mind, where I saw that was the future, to be able to multitask on PCs and gaming devices. It always seemed like when I was playing the 360, it was amazing that I could upload my own music and then play it in the background while I was playing a game. So taken it to a next step where I could keep things open and then pop back through. And now you're starting to see it, you know, with the Xbox Series X, with the resume feature, the quick resume, like that's amazing that it can multitask and then just pop right back in with no loading and pop it back up. But anyways, I got sidetracked. The ANBERNIC, really, I was sitting at work and I had an epiphany. I would bring in my Switch Lite all through COVID. I had a regular Switch and then I had a Switch Lite that I just would download like cheapo games when they went on sale. So I'd be playing Dead Cells or the Castlevania collection or all the Street Fighter Anniversary collection. And so I would just be playing that all the time. And the Switch Lite is small, it's handheld, it is, but then I was thinking like, what if I just had something that was legitimately pocketable, where I could play some of those older RPGs that I don't have access to. So I was looking at my phone, I was like, I don't really want to use my phone as a gaming device. I want something that's dedicated, that's not connected to the internet, that is just a standalone. And so I ended up in this rabbit hole of devices where you couldn't find the Miyoo Mini. There was a Miyoo Mini Plus, but it was not as good as the original Miyoo Mini. And then there was the ANBERNIC. You could connect it to the TV, and it had the Garlic OS that you had to like install yourself. And I was like, I could do this probably. I don't know anything about emulation. So I borrowed my girlfriend's laptop and messed up a couple times, figured it out, ordered something offline that was like, it was off of eBay and it was a ROM dump. But he like had it set up for Garlic OS, but it was on one of those cheap micro SDs that didn't have, it wasn't good. So like if you used it, it was going to like, basically it had a timer on it. You could use like 2 times, and if you start moving files and stuff, it was, a scam basically. But I was able to take all of the stuff off of that, make my own collection, not using the internet, and then, renaming it, because a lot of that stuff had, the stuff that, the ROMs that came on the emulation device, the ANBERNIC, and the one that I bought from somebody off eBay, I had a pretty full collection, but they were all, like I had to go through and sort it all. I had to like rename it, get it all dialed in, remove the countries, the language, no, not the language, the release country. So USA, or it's from France or Japan version. And it's like, I just want it all clean and okay, Final Fight. It's Final Fight. It doesn't have numbers in front of it that make it all, like when you go to sort through it. So I just had to clean it up, basically, so that was it took me probably 2 weeks. 2 weeks in time, probably 4 hours a day. Like I was into it, and I made backups for all my stuff. So like if one breaks, and that thing only, I think I have a 128 gig in that, and that's probably, it's pretty full. Like I would say it's down to its last 10 gigs. So that's loaded. It's basically the complete PlayStation 1 library. And then everything before. So it's PS1 down, which was perfect for me. So I'll just hop on, play Tekken 3, and then hop on, play Tetris, hop on, play Pokemon. And then I found Pokemon hacks, so I could play as Team Rocket, or I could get Mew or whatever as my starter in some of these. And it's like, this is crazy. I just went down some crazy rabbit hole with that for a while, and now it's my daily driver. The battery life is good. I feel like I never charge that thing, but I don't really emulate PlayStation a lot. It's usually the lower end stuff. It feels really good for Game Boy Advance. It feels really good for Genesis. Genesis, it just feels like it's meant to be, which is weird because it's a Nintendo, form factor. It's a Game Boy form factor, but for some reason I just really like the way that it kind of pops. And the orientation, there's not big bars around it and stuff. But yeah, the ANBERNIC has been, the RG35XX has been just a really fun project. And then now that it was complete, I have my spare in case something happens, it gets corrupted. I'll just pop in a new thing in it, and it's good forever. I can clone it, whatever. But the D-pad is not my favorite. I didn't open it up and put the tape on the thing. It's just, I don't know. It's a little too hard for me. I can do Shoryukens and Hadoukens, you know, the Dragon Punch and the projectiles. But when you get into like doing Chun-Li stuff, it gets kind of interesting when you're charging and then over. It just doesn't seem to be able to do her special or Bison special, like it's the whole back and then forward back. It just doesn't click like it does on like the Saturn D-pad or like the arcade stick or even like the PS4. The PS4 D-pad, like I feel like people complain about that, but that's a really nice D-pad in my opinion. I was learning Street Fighter on that Switch, the original Switch, with no controller. It's like, that is a recipe for disaster. That is a terrible D-pad. It's not even a D-pad, there's just buttons. But yeah, other than that, the buttons on the top, they're not really ergonomic and they're not easily accessible. So I always try to change the settings. Like if I'm saying Street Fighter, any of the Capcom fighting games that are six, they're all 6. But like if you're talking King of Fighters series, those are 4 buttons, so that's dialed in. But like Marvel vs. Capcom, I'm not trying to press the top 2 buttons because I like my D-pad to be the only thing on that side if I'm playing a fighting game. So I want R1, R2 to be the power punches, but like on this thing, it's like you're better off doing X and Y as the power, the fierce punch and kick. So the form factor, it's good, but once you get higher up and you need all 6 buttons, it's not ideal. It's really not. Especially now I have the ANBERNIC, the ARC, the dual boot ARC, and that is amazing. So I'll do a video on that next. I just wanted to talk about something just off the top of my head, could kind of rant about and just express my feelings. I just really love video games and I'm really into it, and I don't have really anybody to talk to about it. So I just figure I can get in front of a camera, get better at expressing myself and putting things into words and sentences and impressions, and discuss things on the fly in this kind of form factor. So I will be putting like B-roll in, doing minimal cuts and minimal transitions and things like that. I'm going to try to keep it just raw, uncut, and if people are vibing, that's cool. Thanks for tuning in.